guys can't be classified as MMA guys after that. You guys aren't classified as MMA guys anymore. I'm going to have to get on more of these MMA panels now.
Oh, dude, Stephen A. Smith, get out of here.
I am Stephen A. Smith.
He definitely
How can you guys...
I would like to see you and Stephen A. Smith debate.
No, Stephen A. Smith can suck it.
Stephen A. Smith would kill him.
No, it wouldn't.
Welcome everybody to the Ring Generals podcast. My name is Nick Diaz. Alongside me is Easy Eric.
What's cooking, guys?
The RKJ Man.
Let's talk that talk, y'all.
And of course, our boy Jesse.
How's it going, jabronis?
There you go. Hey, we got a little different podcast today. I don't think we've all four done one so far. This is, and we got the logo, which I hope is coming out in the camera lens and stuff like that.
It will.
Yeah, so,
I'm not blocking it.
Yeah, we wanted to get Jesse here because we want to be honest, we're going to start this podcast in a second with shitting on you for your Cowboy Cerrone pick. Eric's not getting out of this either. But we obviously, you're part of the Ring Generals family, so we want you on here.
Thank you.
And, 100%. So, it's going to be a fun podcast, guys. We're going to be talking the McGregor fight, just a little bit, who we think he's going to face next, and how wrong Eric and Jesse were, of course, like I just mentioned.
After this, I'm going to beat their asses. Yeah.
All I know is this. The return of Black Stradamus is happening in this podcast.
He's not
today.
wrong. He's not
Black
wrong.
Stradamus has come back.
Black Mystic Man, come down.
Blackie Chan, Black Stradamus.
See, now we got it.
It's done.
Unbelievable.
I'll
fix it. No, I'll fix it.
It's
Right, RKJ Man, tell them what's going on the podcast today.
Hey man, we're gonna talk about the Royal Rumble, okay? Who's winning the Royal Rumble? Are we excited for the Royal Rumble? Do we even know what's going on with the road to WrestleMania?
Have you been keeping up? That's the question.
I have been keeping up, but I've hated every single moment of it.
I'm
like
trying
you
to
guys
catch
know.
up.
Okay. Alright, we're going to talk about, what else? We're going to talk about the Conor McGregor situation, obviously. What's the future hold for Conor McGregor? Is he facing Floyd Money Mayweather? Is he facing Khabib? Is he facing Masvidal? I say you do the biggest fight possible after this.
There's a lot of possibilities.
There's too many possibilities. We're also talking about Worlds Collide, right? Are we talking a little bit about Worlds Collide? Mm-hmm. Is that going to impact the Royal Rumble card, guys?
Maybe.
Possibly, potentially, maybe, hopefully. It could be better than the Royal Rumble, honestly.
I'm gonna superficially put the logo in.
Yeah, superficially.
Yeah.
All right, what else are we talking about?
And now I want to talk about the NXT Women's. The NXT Women's title kind of controversy that just came out. The NXT has decided that after Becky Lynch's comments on WWE Backstage to change the NXT Women's Championship to be called the NXT Championship, which is one of the most confusing things in professional wrestling.
I don't think it was after her comments. I think this was probably in the works for
No. But she literally said it on Tuesday. We'll talk about it later.
And she came out with a statement, too.
Watching live. Yeah, exactly. So, but first of all, we want to congratulate Kathy Campanelli, a.k.a.
Congratulations.
Kat Moreno. For
Cereal Queen!
Yes. Let's get cereal. We should have had like a cereal box out here or something like that. We want the cookies.
Don't matter, you still be disrespectful to Frosted Flakes.
Yes. But we are.
Keep eating Golden Grams.
We rewatched the interview like everybody else did. Kathy, we congratulate you on making NXT, and we cannot wait for you to get on the TV show very, very soon. We know your talent will get you there.
We'll be rooting for you.
You'll keep moving up in the wrestling world. So, want to congratulate Kathy. Low-key promo. Go check out the re-upload of her video that we just posted. Look at our social media, get the link, all that stuff. Shorten it a little bit from the original one, but it's all the topical stuff that would still make sense.
And also watch her Let's Get Cereal show. She has numerous of wrestlers on her show, so check it out. Please do. And
and hopefully we see her on NXT TV. Yeah. We'll probably, if you go to a live NXT event, you'll probably see her. So, shout out to Kathy Campanelli, a.k.a. Kat Moreno. Okay, let's get into the Conor McGregor fight. McGregor wins in 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Knockout fashion. Cowboy Cerrone doesn't get a punch down.
TKO.
Yeah, the world is shocked at...
I'm not shocked.
At the fact that a man would use his shoulders as a weapon in this fight. I think MMA guys know, but I've been talking to
You
everybody
guys can't
about.
be classified as MMA guys after that. You guys aren't classified as MMA guys anymore. I'm gonna have to get on more of these MMA panels now.
Oh, dude, Stephen A. Smith, get out of here.
I am Stephen A. Smith.
He's definitely.
How can you guys?
I would like to see you and Stephen A. Smith debate.
No, Stephen A. Smith can suck
Stephen A.
it.
Smith would kill him.
No, it wouldn't. Look. The fact of the matter is this. The fact of the matter is this. I knew it was very, very simple. You're not gonna book, and honestly, Dana White takes his cues from Vince McMahon. You're not gonna book Conor McGregor to lose his first fight back after 3 years. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 years. Whatever years it's been, you're not. 2 years? What? He's not going to lose his first fight, and I said it. I said Conor McGregor is going to have something up his sleeve, and he had that shoulder up his sleeve, and he beat him in 40 seconds.
Well, the funny thing about that shoulder, it's not the first time we actually seen it, but it's the first time we've seen it for a long time, because the last person that was doing that was John Jones.
Yeah.
He's the one of the last people that we've seen actually use that shoulder.
The more famous fighters too. Like you see, you probably see a lot of the prelims.
You've seen
like
Randy Couture do it to Tim Sylvia. John Jones has done it to a bunch of others like Sugar Rashad Evans. What's his name? Rampage Jackson. He did it to Lyoto Machida, Shogun Rua. I mean, he went through those guys.
It was clever.
But not that. Like you just don't see that often.
Nope.
And it was what essentially kind of won him the fight too. The
Exactly.
original knee on the original offense that he threw at the very beginning of the fight. And
he blitzed him. he blitzed Cowboy.
Which is shocking.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, I was surprised.
He went in for that.
I was so surprised. I missed him throw the left hand.
Oh, he did.
Because I didn't expect anything to happen in the first couple seconds.
Ducked.
I turned around, someone had said something to me or something like that, and I missed it, and everybody goes, everybody was over here, and everybody just goes nuts.
It was pretty cool.
He threw that knee, which got him into that clinch, and then after that clinch, he used that shoulder, he implemented it. And after that, and he kind of backed Cowboy into the cage, which basically didn't give Cowboy enough time to react or do anything so he could get out of that spot. But congratulations to Conor. He did it.
He proved it.
So let's talk about this, okay? All right, what made you guys, the MMA guys, the guys that are supposed to know everything? And I'm a casual UFC fan. I'm a casual. I don't know these people like that. And I've come on this podcast and said it honestly. But I just knew that Conor McGregor was winning this fight. So what the hell were you guys thinking? I just want to get a mindset of what you guys were thinking, okay? So I can blast you about it.
Okay, Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
All right. For me.
Please call me by your name, Black Stradamus.
Okay, Black Stradamus for this point. This time, the only time I'll call you.
Yes.
You hear that, guys?
I'm so glad I'm not in crosshair
the first time.
Yeah.
The first and only time I ever call him that.
He was right, though. He was right.
Black Stradamus.
Of course, Conor's going to be the favorite. He's a superstar. Sure. We all agree, right? He's a superstar. 100%. But for me, when I was going for Cowboy, he's been blitzed before by Alex Hernandez, Mike Perry, and the prior fights that he was losing to before, Gaethje, and I believe who was the other guy?
It doesn't matter that much.
But anyways, before those two fight losses, he got blitzed by those two guys, and he ended up taking them down, put him down. He had a Perry in the armbar. He had Alex Hernandez rocked in the second round, I believe, so after that head kick, and he had him wobbling, backing up. So, Cowboy doesn't really blitz, doesn't really get into it, but it takes time. So when over that time, he has that cardio, he has that power, he has that knowledge. But, unfortunately, it didn't work for him in this favor of this fight.
Didn't work in 40 seconds.
Yeah,
not one offensive.
I'll admit it, Conor was just more focused and ready, and at first, I was kind of skeptical when he was very calm and very, very polite, I guess, or humble. Yeah. Conor seemed to be a little bit okay, it looks like he's really, really packaging something for Cerrone. And then I remember when I was making my way here to Nick's house, I realized I was having second thoughts about Conor. I actually started thinking
he did say that before the fight. He said it before the fight.
I started having second thoughts.
He stuck to his word.
Yeah, but since I've been trying to prep this up and I was trying to get the interview and I couldn't go wrong with a Cowboy, I'm I'm going to stick with my word. Hopefully Cowboy does pull an upset because we all love upsets. Not in this case.
It's
Your
a
horse
Superman.
got taken to the Old Town Road.
Yes.
Yes, unfortunately, but
Yes, well,
still
I
Cowboy fan.
Yeah,
Sure.
still
Yeah,
Cowboy
I mean,
fan.
we made controversy. I remember when I made the. I thought Covington was going to win.
That's right.
There was a little bit in the back of my mind where I was like, Usman could starch him in like the first round for sure. Like that could happen.
Yeah.
That was-
Volkanovski one. I did not
that
think
was
that
the
was
risky
that.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was I was wrong about that one, but it does happen. And it's not like Cowboy Cerrone is a bad fighter either. Like we've been joking calling you Stephen A. Smith, but Stephen A. Smith saying that he wasn't ready and all this. No, that's the perfect game plan is what Conor McGregor did. And with some unorthodox offense, ended up really punishing him. And I'll just say this because I got my prediction half wrong here. I thought it was going to go way longer.
No, but you got
What I thought about, I just did not think Conor McGregor was going to be that good.
Right.
I just did not think he was going to be that. Like
That
it was
ready.
so surprising when I was like, I don't care how much this fight costs. I don't care how bad the fights were before this. This was worth it. Understanding that Conor McGregor is back and UFC is going to be dope as shit this year. Like,
Well,
I cannot wait.
He made a statement on his return, so I mean, he's gonna be. Oh,
Yeah.
of
So-
course, he's a global star.
Do we think this is the most dangerous Conor McGregor has been?
Right now, yes.
I think
Because
so,
he's
too.
focused.
Yeah.
He's not drinking
Well,
whiskey or vodka
no,
or
it's good
whatever.
point.
Yeah.
He's humble, and all these guys want
For
to
now.
face him.
Oh, yeah.
And all he
It
is
is-
just 100% focused
It
in on completing his legacy.
It didn't
Because he
take
went
that
out
long.
like,
It
let's
didn't-
be honest, he
yeah.
went out like a bitch.
It-
Let's be honest. He went out like a bitch. In his last couple of fights, he got beat by
Yeah.
Mayweather. Khabib destroyed him.
Yeah.
So he wants to cement his legacy,
Yeah.
and I think he's going to do it this
He
year.
can
It
just
did-
destroy him. He
Yeah,
rolled him like
it
a
didn't take that
bear.
long
No,
for
fight
guys
in
like
that fight.
Masvidal, Usman, Diaz, everybody, Gaethje to go come after Conor McGregor on Twitter.
Well,
It was just absolutely nuts.
He kind of throwing Tony Ferguson, which the guy he rarely speaks of.
Yeah,
Nobody should speak of Tony Ferguson.
Yes.
I don't want to ever
It's the
mess with that
boogeyman.
man.
yeah.
Ugh.
There's a reason.
God.
why they
He's
call
so
it
I
this.
see him on Instagram, I get scared.
He's so unorthodox. Like he's
Yeah.
the type of guy who like, if you look at his legs, doesn't look really strong, but he can bend a bar with that shin of his.
Go watch what he did.
Look at
Go
him.
watch what he did to Kobe. Oh, you know, Tony Ferguson was the one that faced Cerrone. That was
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
he's the one who gave
No,
it.
Tony
yeah.
Ferguson literally
Yeah.
almost knocked Cerrone's eye out of his head.
Yeah.
Literally, go watch the video. It's one of the most brutal injuries I've ever seen.
It's pretty
in
nasty.
I mean,
UFC.
if you look at his
Yeah.
past like 12 fights, it's all the same result. With
He's won 12. He's 12 wins in a row.
12.
Yeah, 12 wins in a row, right? He's like getting one of the longest streaks. I think besides maybe.
In the lightweight
Khabib's
division.
never lost, so obviously it's
No, but
Khabib's
Khabib is
got
one
that.
fight behind of the streak. He's got 11.
in UFC.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
perfect fight.
my question is this. Okay, who's Conor McGregor facing in his next matchup?
Ooh,
Okay,
there's so much
hey,
debate going on.
Is it
a lot of
Mayweather? Is it Mayweather? Would you be down to see Mayweather?
Well, let's all say. Let's not go specific one by one, because that'd be the entire podcast.
We put a poll out there on Twitter, right?
Yeah, there's too many names. I didn't even have enough things.
Wait, hold on,
There's so
hold on.
many names that I couldn't even do the whole poll.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the lightweight division, because that's the division he's going to be trying to go after first to regain his title with Khabib.
Can I give my opinion on this first?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that barring the winner of the Khabib Ferguson fight not getting medically suspended, it's going to be one of those next two guys.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's going to be. I think that's his next fight. Because and you were right about this too. You said that Khabib is the fight to make. I think Ferguson's the fight to make as well. You just don't know as much about Ferguson. Like you'll understand
They're two
how
top
much of a
contenders.
beast that guy is. But
Who can find
I think
I'm going
that
with the man
if
that wrestles with bears.
those guys get
Could be.
medically suspended,
Why would they get medically suspended?
if they just
steroids.
brutalize each
Yeah.
other, that's like
People
Colby
down each
Covington
other.
is medically suspended
With that broken jaw.
Jaw.
with a
yeah.
broken jaw. They don't allow you to fight. So
Okay.
if,
They don't-
maybe if you lied about an injury or something like that, you
You
wouldn't.
don't
be able to
fight for 6 months. It
Yeah.
depends how what the doctors tell you.
I think a medical suspension is at least.
6 months.
For
I think
Cerrone,
it's at least 4.
Cerrone
Yeah,
was
yeah.
that suspension.
4 months,
months.
and when's that fight again?
April. So that would be. So it would be. You'd be looking at.
August.
You'd be looking at August or early September.
October.
Well, if you, I don't know if you can train at that. Can you still be trained? Yes, you can be training. So it would happen. That's McGregor will definitely
So
fight.
guess what that means?
Yeah.
That means he can fight Mayweather in May.
Mayweather's not the fight to make. Mayweather.
That is the fight.
Well, that's
That
just
is
not.
one of
Well,
the
the thing
fights.
is, Dana's trying to work something out with Mayweather
Yeah.
and Floyd. They're trying to do a Zuffa boxing instead of the actual boxing on the outside of the world of the UFC. You know,
Too much.
They're trying to bring in
Too much
boxing.
BS with
Yeah.
all those other
Yeah.
companies, Top
Still-
Rank and PBC and all that.
Mhm.
Okay, well, besides boxing, because we can get into that, obviously that would be an outlier and that would be an attraction on its own.
Big fight coming
People
up.
would want to, we'll watch that no matter what. But as far as MMA goes, I think besides those guys getting medically suspended, he's facing Khabib or Tony Ferguson for the light heavyweight or lightweight championship. If not, it 110% has to be Jorge Masvidal.
No, the reason I say no is because they want to see the trilogy with Diaz.
Yeah.
That's the one I
Okay,
actually
that makes
throw
sense.
that.
Yeah, I
Man,
disagree with
that
that.
is the most random one. Diaz? Nobody
Dude,
wants
yeah.
to see that fight.
Oh, yes, they
Oh,
do.
dude, they do.
They
Yes,
don't
they
want to
do.
see that
do.
fight compared
Both
to
of them are
Khabib.
1-1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just don't do it in New York.
Yeah.
Just don't do it in New York.
California, California,
California?
Isn't it? California.
Yeah.
Bring it here.
We'll see it.
Khabib versus
Yeah.
McGregor
Form,
is
it's
the
a
money
form.
match. I'm telling you, you could charge $100 and people will still buy that match.
But that fight can still happen.
But you
even
want to do it while
otherwise.
people are asking for it. You want to do it while they. You want to strike while
Right,
the iron
if they
is hot.
literally can't,
That is hot.
then
Diaz
you can't.
and
That's not hot. That's not hot like
Diaz
Khabib
and
versus
McGregor?
McGregor.
And they would fight
It
They would
is
fight.
hot.
They would
It
Khabib
is
fight
hot.
versus
Yeah.
McGregor is what's
That-
going right
What are
now.
you
That's on the
smoking?
tip of everybody's mind. That's right there at everybody's mind.
See,
I like this though. I like this though.
You know what's
Yeah,
funny?
Stephen
I don't even.
A. Smith here.
I don't even smoke
Again.
anything.
It's
I'm this crazy. That's why I can't do anything because I'm this crazy just
If
without.
you've seen Stephen A.
crack
Smith
cocaine.
punching pads, I mean, it's kind of like that right now here.
Yeah.
But
And yet I was right
His
about
first
Conor
two-
McGregor.
Well, yeah, but you're going.
Yeah.
He always doing. He's that guy.
I think the reason
He's
why-
that guy that wins one huge bet.
40
And the next day
seconds.
there's
I
15
think the
on the line. He
reason,
loses
look,
all.
40 seconds.
I think the reason
Alright.
why he wants to see Khabib and McGregor go at it because that story. I was gonna say storyline.
It's fine.
but-
It's a storyline.
Yeah,
It's a storyline.
it's
Yeah.
not just the storyline, it's a lot of animosity.
Yeah, a lot of animosity that.
A lot of heated rivalry.
Yeah, that rivalry that they had back in 2018.
General hate
It
for
was
one another.
that was general hate with one another. That was
And it still is hate.
yeah. So with that being said, I think with Ryan, he was more invested with the Khabib and McGregor rivalry.
That was
because
my
It
first-
was building and building and building
Oh,
until
they build up, they
until
build
the big night happened in October.
Holy shit.
And Khabib, him winning was not enough. Him beating and embarrassing Conor McGregor was not enough.
He
He
went
went
to-
after his coaches and started a riot.
That was my first ever UFC fight, and I'm telling you, I told them on the podcast, I said and I am a casual fan, and I admit to it. If they have fights like this every single UFC fight, then guess what? I'm watching it. No, unfortunately, it hasn't been like that.
But yeah, like I said, and he drops the phone. But don't worry, like I said,
Addicted.
yeah. So like I said,
He's addicted to that one
Yeah.
win, that one pick
Yeah.
that he chose that happened.
I
to
think
win.
But everything is gonna happen like I predicted.
If he would've chosen
If you are gambling, do not listen to Ryan for the next 2 weeks. He will tell you you will lose your next 5 bets.
yeah.
Yes.
Because he got
Hey, man,
one
y'all
right,
wanna-
and
hey,
Ryan
man.
thinks everything he says is
Hey
right.
man, y'all want to know the Super Bowl? Y'all want to know who's winning the Super Bowl?
No,
Wait for next week, Cover 2 podcast. I'll make a special
look at
appearance.
that.
I'll make a special appearance.
Cheap pop.
I'll make a special
Hey, shout
appearance.
out to you, Don Bastille, if you're watching. If you're gonna be watching.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big 49ers fan.
But okay, so what is wrong with because Nate Diaz? I feel like he's just not going to accept the fight soon. So I think
Nate
It all comes down to the money.
how about this?
Yeah.
I'll ask everybody this.
Okay.
What could you see Dana White just bypassing the Usman Masvidal fight and putting Masvidal against Conor just because that's probably the better fight? And I think we all agree that would be the bigger money fight
That'll be a money
than
fight.
Usman Masvidal. But do you think that because Masvidal has kind of shown he doesn't care as much about that title?
Mhm.
Do you think that Dana could just possibly come out and say, "Oh no, if like Masvidal and Conor are fighting next, like that's."
That is a possibility, but like Dana said before, he wants that Usman and Masvidal fight.
Which is an awesome fight.
Because Masvidal deserved it. I mean, we all agree that Masvidal earned that title fight. I mean,
Yeah,
he's knocked out
100%,
guys. I mean, there's a controversial fight with Nate Diaz for sure, but he was absolutely winning. But everybody wants to see that fight with Usman. But with Usman, he kind of backs out of fights. We all kind of know about that.
Yep, he tried to do it against
I mean, he
against
tried-
Colby.
He tried to
Yeah.
call out with what's it called? Leon Edwards. I mean, of course, he's kind of like a great 2-3 fight win streak right now. He's gonna be facing Willing in London, and I mean, if he wins that fight, of course, he's gonna earn that next title fight. But he's gonna have to wait it out after Masvidal and Usman. But I believe Masvidal will mark Usman for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Putting it
I
out
think that fight, but that's a
That's my early.
that's a Masvidal win for sure. There's no way.
3 piece of the sun in the
Unless
buffet.
Usman,
Of
I don't know
course.
if that's too much, but unless Usman, kind of takes the coward's way out and just tries to wrestle him, even though, knowing that Masvidal
But you
doesn't
can-
want to do that at all.
Yeah,
Well,
but
well, not that many people know.
Yeah, but
Masvidal's a
Usman proved it
wrestler, too.
with Covington that he can.
Usman's been taken down
Yeah.
once in his whole career. It's a whole different
Yeah,
story, though.
with Usman, it just showed that after that Covington fight, he can box.
Mhm.
You know, he can just.
He could trade. He could trade.
Good point.
Yeah.
That was a shocking fight. I still can't believe that they did that.
Yeah, and they won
For
5 rounds. Yeah. And broke the man's jaw. Maggot bombs.
Yeah, exactly.
I think-
Maggot jaw.
I
I'm
think
still
you guys,
with Covington on that side though.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think you guys are just missing out on the fact that it's not about sometimes the best fight. It's about what's going to draw the most money.
Yeah.
And I think Khabib and McGregor.
Well,
They
that's,
were the
ways,
but
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. With
It's
I
gonna
think
draw-
Masvidal and McGregor would be bigger money fight than Usman. Masvidal.
Also, you want
Titles getting
also
Yeah.
known people.
Even-
People know Khabib because of that McGregor fight. People don't really know Masvidal.
They know Masvidal
Yeah,
more
they
than
do.
Usman though.
Yeah.
They do,
Okay.
yeah. Now they do because of the BMF and
The
we get the
BMF
Rock
and the-
involved. I think it's at
Yeah.
that point it's,
Who could have
it's-
thought they would have the Rock's theme song play at Madison Square Garden?
Oh, dude, that was
UFC?
epic.
For the UFC,
That was
yeah.
epic.
Yeah.
But not that many
I marked
people.
out.
The thing is, for some of the people at you at home that don't know, is that Masvidal came from the streets of Miami.
Yeah.
And he actually came
Florida.
up with Kimbo Slice.
Yeah,
R.I.P. man.
Yeah.
go watch those videos.
Those
He,
street bo- those
he used
street
to street
fights.
box to the
That's
guys.
like he was like 16 or 17 years old, off the street fighting guys for money,
Yeah.
just bare knuckles,
Yeah,
backyard.
good stuff.
Right.
And
He's earned it. He had a weird career up until like the last year and a half, and then he's just been starching
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
left and right.
I mean, of course, he had some of those controversial losses that he lost. The one I kind of comes to recent memory was with Ale Quinta. It was like a great 3-round fight. I mean, but a lot of people booed Ale Quinta for his style, but Masvidal definitely earned that fight as well. I mean, it's fairly even, but that's after that fight he went to welterweight, and that's when he started starching guys left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his home. That's his weight class.
Any chance Justin Gaethje gets a shot at McGregor?
Yeah, I believe so.
Who's Justin Gaethje?
Justin Gaethje is another guy who's been knocking out people too. He knocked out Cerrone within the first round as well.
Yeah.
Great chin, great chin.
He's got an
Fight
epic
beat
yeah.
Cerrone.
Yeah. that's
I
a
mean,
fight night.
he's got those freaking brawl fights. I mean, he had it with Alvarez, Poirier. Those are his 2 losses, but he could have gone either way if he kind of
Stands up, just sits there, takes punches, throw punches.
Takes a-
one more big match. under
takes
his
a lot of
belt.
punishment.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah, he does need to win a big fight in order for I think.
Like a main event.
I just think
Yeah.
when we're talking about possible medical suspensions, Masvidal in the title fight, either Nate Diaz not accepting. Gaethje's kind of like the only guy. If McGregor did want to fight soon,
Gaethje-
that's like the only other guy you
Yeah.
possibly could
I
fight.
mean,
So when is McGregor fighting then?
I mean,
It
we
just
don't.
depends on the outcomes of
I heard
it.
he wants to fight in March.
I mean,
Then that would probably be Gaethje.
Yeah.
He can say
Yeah,
he
that
can
would
fight
probably.
in March right now, but it's up to Dana White at the end. I mean, it doesn't really come down to exactly McGregor. It comes down to the matchmakers and Dana. Gaethje right now is in limbo. He's got some
He's
stuff to
fought
sort.
a while,
Yeah, he's got some stuff to sort out with Dana right now. But I mean, we all agree that Gaethje deserves a title shot as well after Khabib and hopefully Ferguson, or the winner of Tony Ferguson, Khabib, and then Conor, and then he gets the title shot.
That could be that he earn the ranks up there, get a couple big wins, maybe fight the loser of the
Yeah, but
Khabib Ferguson fight. Who I wouldn't want to do that either.
No, I wouldn't.
Wow,
it's
those guys are
it,
freaks.
another guy to throw in is Khabib's training partner, Matt I forgot what's his last name.
Sabine?
No, that's not. Khabib's featherweight.
That's right.
Matt He's another guy. If you look up his videos with Khabib,
Not familiar with him.
well, nobody is. Not that many people, but he's got.
So this is
he's
the
got,
inside. This is inside, right?
he's got better hands than Khabib. I'll say this. He's got great wrestling. I mean, if you see those 2 guys sparring, they've been sparring together for at least 13 years since they were children.
All right, guys. Let's just do our quick predictions. Who does Conor McGregor fight next in the UFC?
I'll say the winner of Khabib and Ferguson.
I'm gonna go with Justin Gaethje. I'm actually gonna. I think he's gonna fight soon. I think he's gonna fight potentially even on the Khabib
Oh.
I think he wants the main event. He wants the main event, though. He wants the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I'll go Gaethje. I'll just be, because I don't think you guys are going to pick Gaethje. I'll go Gaethje.
I love Gaethje.
I think for like Conor, the fight, whoever wins between Khabib and Ferguson, it's gonna have to wait until maybe December, October. But I would see the big money fight in July. Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor.
Oh, kind of.
The trilogy.
The trilogy.
Khabib.
Khabib. No matter what, Khabib.
No matter what, it's
It
Khabib.
works though. Do you? I actually, real quick, do we all agree that he could fight Khabib without Khabib having the lightweight title?
Yes.
I think he still could. You don't think he could?
We still
There's
want to
enough
avenge his
bad
loss.
blood there.
No, well,
I agree with
He
that.
still wants to avenge his loss.
of course he wants to
And
avenge his
Khabib
loss.
told him, keep your name out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Like, there's so many
They
guys.
legitimately
Hate each other.
Yeah.
You know,
I think Khabib more to Conor, because I think Conor half the time was drunk when they were talking to each other.
well, the thing is how it all started is because of Lobov. He started talking smack against
Lobov.
Khabib and his family.
Was it
And
bare knuckle
no, it wasn't his family. It's just Khabib straight up.
Yeah.
Khabib
and then they threatened him. Broke him, right?
Khabib and his crew came up to Lobov, told him, "Hey, talking shit about me and my family."
Slapped him. Right?
Slapped him.
Yeah.
And then Conor saw found out about it, and then he kind of lost it.
He literally saw the footage, took his plane to Brooklyn, threw the dolly through the window.
Yeah.
That's how that
that's how it
happened.
started.
That was it was just based on Artem Lobov getting slapped.
What's funny is that.
It all started with
Yeah.
Lobov.
What's funny is
Come
that.
on, it's just the perfect thing. There's so much history.
What's
You've got to
funny? What's funny is that after this was like an episode after we did the Ring Generals podcast episode. 30 minutes after the episode, that incident happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
I was taking a piss when I found that out.
Yeah. Would have made a great episode or breaking news.
Yeah, that was
I just
crazy.
opened my phone and I'm like, oh, what the hell? And
Yeah.
then,
Whole dolly thing.
I was about to
Wow.
watch it. I actually ordered the pay-per-view too, like right through my phone.
Oh yeah.
I watched it
And still taking a piss.
on the I watched it.
That's some skill right there.
Yeah.
I
you
was
gotta do that.
personally, I was not taking a piss.
Yeah.
But I watched like half of it in like a bed in the East Coast, like just at the last second I saw him jump over.
Well, the thing is, I was kind of looking forward for the Holloway and Khabib
Yeah.
fight as well,
I was
because
at Buffalo when I
you
saw this.
can't really forget about Holloway.
Yeah.
Holloway wanted to come up and fight Khabib.
My parents were into that.
But,
Who wins?
All our future kids are gonna ask. All gonna ask us, "What were you during the Khabib and Conor McGregor fight?"
I'll tell you where I was.
Barely
and I
got
did.
You were racing, man.
I was racing.
Yeah, so we all disagree in some form or way with the
But,
thing,
yeah.
which is good because I think
Yeah.
Because there's a lot
this is
of
what we're
evidence.
trying to explain is that there is so many possibilities because of how much
Yeah.
of a star Conor
But they're
McGregor
great
is
choices, though.
that we're all
Yeah.
excited about any of these outcomes. None of us said Masvidal, but I think we expect Usman and Masvidal to go at it
Yeah.
and just whatever. But
Let them fight out.
and Conor's
first.
coach John Kavanagh has said that he wants to get the lightweight championship, so I don't think he'd go for the welterweight.
But he also
first.
wants Gaethje at welterweight.
I think that's in Conor McGregor's favor. But let's not go into. Let's not go.
Yeah. That's
So let's switch topics completely to something that we originally weren't even going to talk about on this podcast. We've been planning this for the last week. The Becky Lynch on WWE Backstage had some interesting comments about the women's division, how she didn't want there to be a quote-unquote women's segment. She didn't want there to be women's wrestling. She just wanted them to be wrestlers, superstars, which we all can understand, right? We all can understand why, and especially with lately, some of the top women have kind of been dominating the headlines and they're not really propping up anybody, especially with at least with WWE. They haven't been propping up a lot of the other lower characters. It's kind of just it has become the women's segments in some ways. You wait for those. But she makes these comments, talking to CM Punk, all that stuff. And then the next night on NXT TV, they announced that they're changing the name of the NXT Women's Championship to the NXT Championship. Guys, what's our thoughts on this? I didn't expect anything like this to happen, and this has sent wrestling Twitter into a little turmoil here.
Yeah, I mean,
Wrestling Twitter is always in turmoil.
Even more.
I got wrestling Twitter in turmoil. Personally, first of all, Becky Lynch, you don't have a women's division on the main roster. That women's division is not deep enough to hold Becky Lynch and all of them. Honestly, there's about 5, 6 women on each roster. They keep recycling the same matches.
I think a little bit more than
A little bit,
that,
but being used, it's like 3 or 4.
But we've seen the same 4, the 4 horsewomen: Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
And out of all of them, Sasha Banks is definitely getting used the least.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's
She's
a
making
situation.
music right now, isn't she?
She's making music or whatnot. I think she might have, I honestly think she may have.
She loves her
music.
cousins, though. She loves Vince
Yeah.
McMahon.
With her
Can't
cousin?
stop saying it on
Yeah.
Twitter.
But, like, what, I don't understand.
About the money.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I get it. What the women have been doing has been fantastic, but it hasn't been collectively all of them. It's been only a certain amount of women.
A handful.
The 4 horsewomen, honestly. It has not been all of them
Everybody.
coming together. Whereas when I go to NXT UK, I see all of them having great matches. Those are women's divisions.
Yeah.
And I'll go outside of the WWE. I'll go to Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
That's a women's division.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
can talk bad about Tessa Blanchard all we want to, but that's a great division.
You
right
can't
there.
deny your talents.
You cannot deny her talents.
She's
So
bigger than the stars in WWE right now.
I agree.
I believe so. I mean, that's
I
And
agree.
in more trouble, too.
Yeah, more trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, so this whole thing of, hey, we have a fantastic women's division, we need to show it. Calm down on that. I don't really think the women's division has still been elevated enough yet. As far as the NXT Women's Championship, like I don't get it. Like it doesn't make any sense to me because these are women who are wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I told my mom had this conversation with me. She's like, you notice they never announced the women's weights because
That's
it's a
true.
woman. I was like, well, they
They
should
do
announce it.
in AEW, I think. Don't they?
No.
Well, in the
no,
WWE, I'm talking
They do Nyla
WWE.
Rose's weight.
Yeah.
Well, that is what.
In the
what-
WWE, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
And you know, I'm saying they should. If they want to be on the same level as the men, they want to get the same treatment as the men. The men gets their weight
It's not
announced.
like we care.
Why can't the women get their weight announced?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, why do we have to abide by certain rules when you guys want to break it? It's hypocrisy at its finest. And I've been saying this since
Yeah.
the podcast started. You want all the ability to get treated like the men, but when we do treat you like the men, you get offended and you get upset. It doesn't make any sense.
It's like the Big Show, Rey Mysterio. I mean, they don't announce the race before.
Yeah, me and Sammy Callan did a great job of treating Tessa Blanchard like a man. So I mean, and they had a great rivalry.
Like a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a wrestler.
They're
Pro
wrestlers.
wrestling is not real competition between a man and a woman. It is staged storyline, matches. We all know this. If you're watching this podcast and you don't know this, who are you? First of all, because
Casual, get out of
yeah,
here.
Pause the podcast and go watch the history of wrestling and come back.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But it's
Give us a thumbs down if you want.
No,
No,
don't
don't
say
be-
that.
No.
never like,
No.
subscribe, comment, and follow us on all social media.
No.
Please.
If you want a shout out, just ask, okay?
Yeah, exactly. RKJ, I just I don't understand. Here's my problem with it, because when you do things that like nobody's gonna listen to, like for example, when we talk about the next NXT pay-per-view, right?
Oh.
Are we gonna say, okay, let's, for example, Adam Cole's facing Matt Riddle for the NXT Championship, right? And then,
Damn it, right.
God damn it.
Damn.
Didn't it cut out? Then you look at who sent the text?
Sorry.
He's getting a blue
Eli's
call right now.
retiring, y'all.
He's
That
getting
was
a
like
blue-
2 days ago.
Yeah, that was like
That
that
was
yesterday.
Yeah, that was like
No, he's retiring tomorrow.
Oh, it's retirement announcement.
Officially.
This is not going to be in the podcast. It's fine.
I thought he was getting a blue call right now. I was like, right now, come on, jeez.
So when we look at the next NXT pay per view, I forget what it's called. It's in February. When we talk
Take
about
over Portland.
Adam Cole defending his championship, we're going to call it the NXT Championship, right?
Right.
Out of respect for whoever fights for the other NXT Championship,
Wow.
we'll probably call it that, but what we're going to really be thinking is that's the NXT Women's Championship. And we're, it's just confusing, it's unnecessary. It would be like if you had two of the same gimmicks for people on a roster. One being male, one being female, and you'd be like, well, what's the difference between the two?
Just
Right? If you
just
had
the gender,
two
just the difference.
fiends,
Yeah.
right? And you'd be like, well, what's it? They're not together? It doesn't make sense. It's I get the whole gender part of it, but it doesn't make sense, and to be honest, it's just stupid. It doesn't need to happen. When AEW is calling it the AEW Women's Championship, when Impact is calling it the Knockouts Championship, when every other company ever in the history of pro wrestling is called a Women's Championship or a Divas Championship, why is NXT, whose women's division is probably, if not the best women's division of wrestling, where we do not distinguish, we distinguish them between the men and women as being exactly the same. Why is that one changing? Like, maybe if you did it with the WWE roster, it would make a little bit more sense because you're like, yeah, it's like 5 women and they're trying to force Asuka down our throats, right? And so it's like whatever. But to do it with the NXT women, not only does that not make sense literally with the fact that you now have 2 NXT championships, it doesn't make sense because those women we do not consider as a women's segment. Those are matches, right? So I don't know. I think they're going to change it. I think they're going to get enough backlash to where they're going to move it back. But Eric, I'll let you get your thoughts on this.
You know, like, I'm actually just as surprised to hear this because when I came in and you guys told me about it, I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know about that.
I didn't know that till earlier today too.
I didn't know that till now.
Yeah. So with that being said, I really do think, like you guys say, I think they're actually going to change it. I think what they're trying to do is kind of more of a maybe trying to play it out and see what happens. But as of right now, I think the feedback isn't going to get anywhere close to being positive. And I think that with the NXT Championship, it is going to get confusing. I just hope that in the future, maybe NXT should give it a different name. You don't have to call it the NXT Women's Championship. Just call it like something like what TNA did. What they did was actually pretty clever with the TNA Knockouts Championship. You don't have to call it just the women's belt. So, just come up with a pretty good name for it, and then you'll be safe. And I don't think we'll have a problem with that at all.
Not at all.
And because when we know as the NXT Championship is the belt that we know that Adam Cole is holding it. That is the belt that Adam Cole has it on his shoulders, and that is the belt that that signifies that he is the man for NXT. That is your champion. That is your guy for the NXT Women's Championship. I get it. Rhea Ripley, great champion. The name, and I'm still gonna call it the NXT Women's Championship. I mean, I hate to say it.
Not confuse people.
Yeah, I don't want to confuse people.
Yeah.
Not to make it more complicated as it is.
I'll give you a perfect example of why this is super confusing too. I made the point about the 2 fiends, right? It doesn't exist, but Asuka is the longest reigning NXT champion in history, obviously.
Yep.
Okay, well, is Adam Cole also? Who's the men?
Finn Balor.
So Finn Balor is the longest reigning NXT champion,
and
Asuka is the longest reigning.
You know what it does?
Guys,
it makes it unisex.
Yeah.
It makes it unisex. So now
Might as well throw in the
it's confusing.
Okay,
It makes it unisex.
Hold on,
a man can go and challenge for the hey, I'm challenging for the NXT Championship, but it's a woman.
You just gave him a good idea.
I want that.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley. Yeah. I'm coming after you. Winner of the Men's Royal Rumble is going to go after Rhea Ripley now. Okay, here's a thought that I never.
Completely unisex.
Here's the good thing about recording this a couple hours after we kind of all find this out. What if they are changing it because NXT might take a page out of Tessa Blanchard's book, and they might have the women actually.
No, they
fight
have
some
eyes
men.
on that.
Is that maybe why they did this potential? I know it's. They might have been thinking about it, like you said.
Coincidence, yes.
Maybe Triple H is not maybe. He probably still is trying to find a way to get Tessa in there.
Okay, for example, when we were at WrestleMania last year, who was one of the members of DX that got inducted? China. Okay, who was absolutely linked with Triple H? China. Okay, so if there's one guy that would think this could potentially work besides the people at Impact Wrestling, it's Triple H.
I just don't think the WWE is going to allow that because at the end of the day, it is Vince and Kenny McMahon's company, and it's so corporate and corporate America and so public that if stockholders here, even in the third brand, hey, men and women are fighting each other, they might freak out a little bit.
That may be true, but Triple H still has 100% control of NXT.
Don't we think too that NXT is mainly not as much for children as the other shows, though?
No.
Like, you think NXT is just the same? Like,
I see kids there in the
well,
audience.
no, I honestly think that, like,
It's not as PG as WWE.
oh, so you're agreeing with them? You're saying I think
still less
NXT.
PG,
I think NXT technically is the most hardcore out of the 3.
Yes.
And
I would agree.
where
And
the
that's the
sketchiest
big
stuff
roster.
does happen, and we see these Hell in
I
a
would
Cell
agree
match,
with
like,
that.
it's great.
And that's the baby roster, the baby of the company.
It's got that, yeah.
It's not the baby anymore, man.
Well, no, I'm
It's
saying.
the best roster in the company now.
It grew up fast.
That's right.
That's the thing.
It's got that.
It was supposed to be the baby rosters trying to push up those
It's
guys
got that, yeah.
up to the Raw and SmackDown brands.
It's got that punk rock
Not anymore.
and heavy metal flavor to NXT, which also makes it completely distinctive from Raw and SmackDown.
Sure.
You know, because Raw and SmackDown.
And even AEW too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So for Raw and SmackDown, they're like the pop music, while NXT is supposed to be the heavy metal and
The
heavy metal.
hardcore.
Yeah, the hardcore, and heavy metal doesn't have to look nice and beautiful. It can.
Kids don't listen to heavy metal.
It's
It could be
crunchy.
ugly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
dirty.
Ugly.
It's
Maybe
dark.
Eric
Yeah.
listened to it when he was a kid, but most kids
Oh,
don't.
I still listen to this.
Look at that beanie.
I can give
Look at
you-
that look.
I can
exactly.
I can give you a lot.
It's got that Saints of Anarchy, that kind of looking at it.
100%.
Yeah.
Or the Mines.
Yeah,
Yeah, those shows.
But yeah, so it's a weird decision by NXT, but I guess when we're looking at it for a devil's advocate part, maybe they are going to try to even more be more progressive in the wrestling world and continue what Impact did with Tessa Blanchard. Possibly we might have a Shayna Baszler type of person fighting, you know, or a Tessa Blanchard. Hey, maybe NXT wants to sign Tessa Blanchard, and they're like, well, she can win the
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah,
that's what I'm
maybe
thinking.
that's what they're getting. One woman is changing the business forever, potentially. Or they just made a horrible mistake and they're just going to change it back in a month.
Either or.
I think
Yeah.
they made a
Either or.
terrible mistake.
It's an interesting. It's an interesting. Time.
Hey, how much do you guys want to bet if one of the women is going to win the main W Championship in the future?
There's a possibility, yeah.
When Vince dies,
the
for sure.
only the only person who I could see
When
doing
Vince-
that is Ronda Rousey. If she comes back, and we'll talk about it coming
There's
up.
rumors about
I mean,
it.
she's
Yeah.
trying to have a family right now, but we'll just hold off on that.
He's on the family thing
Nick,
too.
Nick, Nick thinks I'm so invested in her having a kid. He thinks I'm
I
so
think he wants to
invested.
have one.
She said it herself.
I don't want to have her kid. That's not genetic.
Okay, let's move to the Royal Rumble. If that last part wasn't cut in,
What the
you're
heck?
gonna understand why we're.
Now we're back.
Yeah,
What's
we're
up,
back.
guys?
We're back to the
We're
podcast.
back.
Okay, guys, I'm ready.
Okay, the Royal Rumble is this Sunday. It's probably the main reason we're doing this podcast today. And I think, guys, I'll be honest, this is the first Royal Rumble maybe that I've ever watched where I had no idea who's winning either one. I personally, I have guys I'll pick just because it's something I want, but I don't, like last year was kind of see-through, like you could see Becky Lynch winning, you could see Seth Rollins winning, that's not surprising, you would have picked them in your top three.
Oh, you can see bumps in that.
Yeah, but this year, based on the hectic booking, the competition with AEW, NXT's involvement,
There's a lot of
Survivor
stuff going
Series,
on
there's
elsewhere.
there's
That's
so much that could happen here. So, who wants to fire away? We're not really going to talk about the main card as much. We're just going to kind of talk about the two Rumbles. First of all, do we expect NXT involvement from both Rumbles? Do we expect?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all agree on
And I
that.
think an NXT person will win one of the Rumbles.
I mean,
Hot take.
I mean,
Shayna Baszler.
it's
Hot
already,
take.
Yeah, sure.
Shayna Baszler.
To get back her bell, huh?
And that's podcast, everybody.
Yeah.
So, no.
Shayna Baszler.
Brian likes to give his opinions right away, and then he can't
Yeah,
talk.
no,
But then we just all talk about it after.
I have to set the bar high, and then you guys have to shoot it. That's what I have to do.
We're gonna have to bring him down a notch.
Yeah, but so NXT involvement. Yeah, I think with obviously with the Survivor Series stuff, you have to see involvement coming for them. I don't necessarily think any of them are winning. I disagree with you on the Shayna Baszler thing. I just don't think Vince will allow it. I don't think Vince would allow an NXT person to win the Royal Rumble and
So who
fight
else?
for.
Who else?
Well, I'll get to it, right? We're
Well, I
talking
don't
about
know.
the Royal
I
Rumble.
want to know.
We're building it up.
Because like I don't see anybody
We're
else
going to
from
talk
this
about the
roster.
collective. You know, who
Dana
we think-
Brooke?
Maybe.
Marching there with
Have you seen how
Batista.
much they push Liv
Well,
Morgan?
they're not.
Oh my God, Liv Morgan.
How's that again?
Liv Morgan?
Wasn't she a lesbian? What? Didn't they say she was a lesbian?
I would guess bisexual, because I don't think they do. The lesbian thing is too.
Shayna Bailey?
Shane Bailey? I don't know who that is.
Oh wait, no.
What?
No.
It's Liv and Lana, that's what we're talking
Yeah,
Oh.
we're talking about them a lot. Yeah, well, because the whole lesbian. Did you watch Wedding?
I watched part of it. It was too cringy. I couldn't even watch it at all.
Yeah.
Henry Cejudo type Wedding for sure.
Mm.
Triple
C,
Yeah.
quadruple
Triple
C
C.
now.
Quadruple
Congratulations on your new girlfriend.
C.
You
He's
try
a
to
triple.
go-
They guys tell us, Triple. He's not Triple C. He's still Triple C.
No, it's gonna be
I'm trying to go after the
Oh,
belt.
but he got his belt.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about the Royal Rumble.
So we think NXT involvement's going to happen. Let's do this first of all. Okay, I think before we get to our actual predictions, although you already gave one yours away, here's two questions that I want you guys to answer, and I think we might disagree on these. there's two people that might be in this Royal Rumble that you would have never thought would be in a Royal Rumble, let's say 4 or 5 years ago. Okay? Paige and Edge. Okay? Go through the line. Do we think it's possible that one or both of these people are in this year's Royal Rumble matches?
I'll say Paige will be a surprise for me.
Paige.
Paige, no, but Edge, yes. I think so.
Same thing.
I'm going both. Paige has been talking about it way too much on social media and on WWE Backstage. And I think Edge, although he's tried to steer the narrative away, we know about a mysterious contract signed, a length to it.
Going to Pittsburgh.
And we see the Instagram.
Yeah.
That photo with his uniform. Well, not uniform.
No, but that was an old photo.
No, but he posted it up again.
You sure?
Yeah.
And in the past, we've seen this with, now he's doing it on his own, but we've seen this with the WWE video game covers where Goldberg returned, Kurt Angle returned. So, this might be one of those things, we hear these rumors about Edge. Why would we be hearing these rumors, right? Like, we haven't heard these kind of rumors about a person, and then it just doesn't happen and nothing happens. Mm-hmm. Clearly, Edge has done whatever he's done to get back to being able to wrestle again. He would not wrestle if he thought he was going to end his life, potentially, or put him in a wheelchair.
Yeah, with that
right? Injury. Paige would not be doing this if it was going to end up having her in a wheelchair or possibly dead, right?
Paralyzed.
So why would these rumors be happening if we knew that was still a possibility?
But you don't hear those rumors with Paige. You hear those rumors with Edge.
But Paige is retired for the same thing.
Yeah, but you
correct. And we've seen the return of Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan wrestles, still takes brutal shots to the head.
Yeah, because they didn't. Well, they didn't let Daniel
Yeah.
Bryan to wrestle. They didn't clear him.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So I think with Daniel Bryan getting cleared, the rumors about Edge, Paige talking about being in both Royal Rumbles. Obviously, it's a joke with the men's. Well, maybe not. She's NXT, but I think that they're both going to be in it, and I think it's going to be a shock to someone like my brother, who hasn't watched the product for 2 months.
Wow.
And or it would never expect a guy like that to come back. And it will shock me too. Because of how sad the Edge retirement was.
It was.
And the Paige one wasn't, they kind of booked it weird on Monday Night Raw. Nobody expected it. But it's going to be, that's going to be, I haven't looked research at how many people they've actually announced.
I think about 25.
Okay, so that's enough for a couple NXT guys.
That's...
Maybe you got a legend in there to get eliminated by Brock Lesnar early. Maybe a Cain Velasquez and Edge.
I think we have a better chance of seeing Ronda Rousey over Paige this Sunday.
I agree with that.
Chance
No, I agree with that. I just think that Paige will be in it. I 100% think Ronda Rousey.
No, I don't think so.
Well, because the Royal Rumble is always filled with surprises. So
Yeah.
you may never know who might show
The
up.
last couple years it hasn't though. For
No,
some
it
reason,
hasn't, yeah.
But this year, here's what I think. Specifically with the men's, it's a little easier to calculate because they've announced so many. I think you got Keith Lee.
Adam Cole.
I don't. Matt Riddle, Cain Velasquez, a legend, and I think Edge. That's who I think. I think Adam Cole doesn't need to be in it.
Let me ask you a question. Who's entering number 2 against Brock Lesnar?
Dominic, Rey Mysterio's.
Dominic?
Yeah. Rey Mysterio's son. That's what I think is going to happen.
So that right there takes it out. So 25
so
guys.
I'll take out the legend.
So take out the legend.
You better start praying.
No, but how the story? It makes sense, right? Did technically Dominic ever get revenge on Brock Lesnar for that?
Tried to, but
Yeah.
succeeded.
Okay, so then there you go, right? That's I think so. There's your surprises, right? We've seen in the past too. Becky Lynch wasn't supposed to be in the Rumble last year, and she was entered even though she technically didn't have a spot left. So you also could have that kind of stuff happen, and we could have more than 5 people actually be surprised. For the women, my surprise is at least Ronda Rousey. I do think Shayna Baszler will be there for sure. I could see another NXT woman, and I think Paige is there too. And then maybe they'll force feed Trish Stratus down her throat again or something like that. But
they will.
Yeah.
Or
so, but so,
it's gonna.
yeah. So we do think. Oh, the interesting thing is, I didn't think that we all do agree that at least one of these people is showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think both, but. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting for sure. And we would never expected that, but I remember talking about Daniel Bryan coming back. I felt so happy. Edge? Are you kidding me? The Rated R Superstar returning to our
I just want to hear the theme.
Edge. Okay, so I'll tell you this: like throughout my lifetime, Edge was like very prominent when I first became a big time wrestling fan. I remember seeing the sex celebration on one of the first episodes of Raw I ever watched.
Nick, you need to tell that story.
Oh, you want me to tell the story?
Tell the story.
Yeah, I was really young, and I remember I used to have to go to bed like pretty early, but I was used to sneak Raw. Right, and it was 2 hours at the time. So at the 9 o'clock, I usually had to go. Yeah, so at 9 o'clock, turned out I always missed the 9 o'clock segment, right, here on the West Coast. But I knew they'd been promoting the sex celebration, so I was still awake. You know, my mom hadn't put me to bed yet, right? I was young, and I was like, it's like 9:30, right? It's like 9:30, 9:35, right? I get back into it. Mom comes in, turns out TV, and I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, obviously I can't say what's gonna happen, but I'm like, this is the next segment, bro. It's the next. It's going to commercial. They're like, coming up next. Jerry Lawler's like freaking out in the seat, right? Oh my god! Puppies. Yeah. But and so I remember mom goes downstairs, right? TV's I sneak it back on, close my door, right? I'm on number 1 as far as the volume goes. Old ass TV, probably like this size, right? Like it's super small.
I was hoping it was this TV.
No. 3 or 4 bars would be too loud, and then
No, it'd be too loud, and my mom would come upstairs and beat my ass. I'm just kidding. My mom was very nice. She won't be listening. She won't be watching. It's fine. And I remember I got into it like right when they got interrupted by Ric Flair, which was hilarious. And so I didn't actually get to see any of this. Of course, I went back on WWE.com, watched the whole thing. But that was my story for that. But
uncensored.
okay, backing off that story, the Rated R Superstar, like really, how cool is that going to be for him to potentially be back in WWE?
Full time.
But who's
Doesn't matter.
I'll say part time. I'll say he comes back in part time.
Yeah, but the question remains is the Royal Rumble is always the beginning to the road to WrestleMania. We can always kind of see how we can always kind of see who's going to go to WrestleMania.
Wait a minute, I just thought of somebody else. John Cena.
Oh shoot! I just
John Cena's got to be there, right? You don't think?
I think what if they want to do John Cena and Edge again at WrestleMania?
Well, the thing is,
to retire Edge.
This is going to be the first time John Cena's not going to be featured in WrestleMania at all.
No, he says he wants to come back.
He's going to come back. He'll be in it. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. So whatever did John Cena, is he going to be in it or not?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I already guessed my guy, so I can't logistically change my mind again. So I'll go.
I mean, like if
I want to see it. I like John.
yeah, I mean, like
He
if
doesn't love John.
well, we're
That's
not
it.
getting John, then we're getting Edge. All right, so which one?
By the way, I'll tell you guys this though. I have insider information on somebody that used to coach John Cena in football. On our next podcast, I will have an exclusive John Cena story that nobody's ever heard before.
Ooh, kind of
Okay.
intense.
I haven't heard it yet because I haven't met with the guy yet. But my brother's involved in football. Somebody he's involved in football with used to coach John Cena at
He's got
Springfield
ties.
College.
Just make sure we don't get sued.
No, I will not. But if we get sued, it'll be good content, so it's fine.
It's going to be
He'll
worth
get
it.
sued. Sue this guy.
John, it's no ill will, but I can tell you the coach that would tell me, so that he'll get sued, not me. Okay.
Way to throw him under the bus.
I told all those coaches to watch this podcast too, so now I'm screwed.
Good job.
Already.
Good
Hey,
job.
guess who has the editing? Just taking that part out. Right? Okay, so
Right.
let's get okay. Okay, so let's get into the Royal Rumble. What do we think's going on? Who do we think wins? Ryan, I'll let you just finish off your. You said Shayna Baszler. Is she coming out early, late?
Late.
What's going on?
Late. She'll have some.
Who's in your final? Who are your final like 2 or 3?
Shayna Baszler, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss.
I forgot about
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I forgot about it.
Alexa Bliss might become Edge or Page soon. There's all those concussions and all those injuries.
Well, those injuries, yeah.
Injuries.
Brutal.
As far as the men's Royal Rumble goes,
Yeah, have fun with this one.
it's really tough. But I think as soon as he came back from cancer, I think Vince already had it etched in stone. We're getting Roman Reigns again, just like 2015.
Oh boy.
He's going to win the Royal Rumble. He's going to face the Fiend.
Houston
Okay,
ain't gonna like
please
that.
tell me that wasn't Black Shadams talking with that prediction.
Yeah.
Say you're not Black Shadams, please.
With the
I don't
Royal
want to see
Rumble.
He's gonna
Reigns.
say- he's
I don't
gonna
want.
say-
I don't want to see Roman Reigns gonna win. Please say you're
I'm
not.
so sorry, but Black Shadams has predicted it.
Dude, the Minute Maid Park is not gonna be happy with
The
this.
Minute Maid Park might throw trash.
They have to use the trash can.
Yeah.
They have.
Or
to
you
use
could throw cameras. The same cameras that they use for the Astros, they get thrown.
That's gonna be how they film the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
They know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh,
Who's gonna
okay.
make a joke about that?
Let me throw my
against him?
GoPro at you guys.
Go for
Okay,
it.
okay, so
What
who's
heel is gonna make a joke
Who's
about
at the
that?
end? Who's at the end with him?
Who's the other? Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins.
God, that's brutal.
Roman Reigns
I
and Seth
really
Rollins.
hope your prediction.
Roman
is
Reigns,
that,
Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is going to eliminate. No, Kevin Owens is going to get eliminated by Seth Rollins, and then Roman Reigns is going to beat Seth Rollins, and we're going to see the most crappiest road to WrestleMania for that.
Oh boy.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it, but we all know that Vince McMahon, as soon as that dude came back, he was like, I'm booking this guy to win the Royal Rumble. I'm keeping that PG. There's something else.
Where do you go?
Well-
Men's one. It doesn't matter. You can go.
Well,
wherever
with the women's, I think how they're building her up, and to be honest, as much as I hate it, and I feel like she's gonna pull an upset. Liv Morgan might win this
Whoa,
Royal
whoa,
Rumble.
whoa,
Liv
whoa,
Morgan,
whoa,
wow.
whoa.
And if she,
Liv Morgan?
as far as I
Yeah, I mean,
WrestleMania
because-
ain't the time for
because-
experiments, bro.
but the-
WrestleMania ain't the time for
as much,
experiments.
and you know what, dude? To be honest, and I hate saying it, how they've been prepping her up, how they were putting her in these ridiculous storylines, these promo packages, and how people. I'm saying this. People are actually behind her. There are people out there who actually support her. She might win this one for
I
the
mean, I
women's
support
Royal
Liv
Rumble.
Morgan, but I don't want to win the Royal Rumble.
I-
You guys would do brutal predictions.
Yeah.
You're just sending me
I
down.
mean-
I'm not gonna watch the Royal Rumble anymore.
That's the women's part, but I really hope maybe on the safe side, maybe Charlotte might win this one. Yeah, to be on the
What
safe
about
side.
men's? What about men's?
For the men's, you know what? I think what they're gonna try to do is they're probably gonna keep the belt on Brock because it's something for him to brag about, and it's something for Paul Heyman, for him
Wow.
being the mouthpiece, for him to brag about how he is the only man who can win 2 Royal Rumbles and actually take out 29 other men. And to be honest, man, Brock is gonna, him and probably Cain Velasquez are gonna be like the last 2 in this one. Brock Lesnar, he's gonna win this one, and he's gonna take out everybody. And I feel bad for everybody else, dude, because all the wrestlers that are fighting Brock, oh my God, you're fighting Broly from Dragon Ball Z. I hate to say it.
Might as well have
Yeah.
Trunks and Goten fight Broly.
Yeah,
right now.
they're basically the same people. Both love death and destruction.
I gotta say, I did not think you guys were gonna come with those predictions right now. Okay, if you're a wrestling fan and you don't want that to happen, you're gonna be very excited to hear mine. Okay?
Yes. Right in the room.
First of all, Ronda Rousey's come back to the Royal Rumble, okay, with women's. And second of
It's
all,
better than Liv Morgan.
is there really any other women's match to do besides Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch
Lynch
singles match?
at WrestleMania.
So it's happening. Ronda Rousey's winning the Royal Rumble. She's going to come back at late. She'll dominate, probably win it pretty quickly. too.
Okay, now let me say this. If she comes back now, she needs to be in for a year. She needs to complete her contract before
No.
she goes to get pregnant.
It's not
again.
true.
She
She
needs
could
to
just
complete her
lose
contract.
the match against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Becky Lynch is going to win the title at WrestleMania again. She could get Becky Lynch to, I'll say it, top star in WWE.
I honestly think
yeah.
Becky Lynch has to lose that title at WrestleMania. And whoever wins this Royal Rumble is taking
Why?
that title off of her.
Why?
She has too much
It's just
star
been
power
too.
right
It's
now.
just been too long.
What?
It's been too long. It's been too long. You gotta establish somebody else, bro. It's
Who?
just how. You gotta establish somebody else.
But who?
That's a great question.
Shayna
Shayna
Baszler?
Baszler.
Okay, that's
Shayna
his
Baszler.
prediction. Okay, so that's fine.
But I'm
that's fine.
saying if Ronda
That's
Rousey
fine.
comes back,
Okay,
then that means she's kind of put the child thing on the. And I'm not saying, and I'm not being sexist when I say this. I'm
You
saying,
said this all year.
I'm saying
So
that you
she's
gotta
wrong.
put the child thing in the back burner, Ronda. And you gotta focus on WWE. You gotta focus on this thing to WrestleMania now.
Next week.
And I just don't think it's ready yet. I don't think she's ready to do that. I think she still wants to have a baby. So I think Shayna Baszler is gonna come and win the Royal Rumble.
Making babies like Cam Newton, right?
Yeah, like
there it is.
She's making, and trust me, nobody's making babies like Cam Newton besides
Okay.
Phillip Rivers.
So I got very good connection.
It's Phillip Rivers, it's Cam Newton in terms of making
So
babies.
I'm gonna go.
Their
with-
fishes are swimming.
Okay, so I actually think.
Ray's taking over for Rivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know really. Yeah, Phil Rivers moved out of San Diego, moved to Florida.
I guess he's our next quarterback.
I really hope that happens just to see your face a little rest in the next season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'd love to see that.
I just want to see Tom Brady. No, I want Tom Brady.
You're not getting Tom Brady.
We're getting Tom Brady on the
You're not getting
You know
Tom
what? I'm
Brady.
gonna have to show up on the Cover 2 podcast.
Yeah,
Please do.
please.
Blasphemous nonsense.
Please. Okay, I think Rousey's
Coming
gonna,
for you 10 minutes.
I think Rousey's going to be in it at the end with Shayna Baszler. Let me just turn off my
There goes your damn phone.
with Shayna Baszler And I'll go Sasha Banks as well at the end. I think those are the people, and then I think Sasha eliminates Shayna, Ronda eliminates Sasha, and that's how they do it. But Sasha, I think, is the one that I think... if I had to do another prediction, I'd say Sasha. Because the whole Bailey thing. I think that'd be the other one.
That'd be really good.
That'd be good too. I don't mind Sasha winning. Although it's very predictable, and I think if you're going to have surprises there with Rousey and Baszler, I think you need to have, to be honest, one of those two win. But I wouldn't mind Sasha. On the men's side, I'm going to go Drew McIntyre. I think McIntyre, they're booking lately to
there's
be a
been
beast.
some promise.
Yeah, I think he'll actually stay in there for a long time. You know, at the end, I think they're going to have Roman at the end, but I don't think he'll be the final two, because that wouldn't be way too see-through, because I don't think Roman's winning at all. I did completely disagree with you. I think Brock's getting eliminated early. I don't know by who. Probably Kane, or Tyson Fury, potentially.
If he comes in.
But I don't think he will, because he's training for the Wild fight. There's no way he can do that. And then I'm trying to think of somebody else, but...
Running one out 7 times a day.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe Keith Lee. Keith Lee's in there too. At the end.
Yeah, that's
Keith Lee.
You know that CM Punk's...
Roman Reigns.
That's his pick.
That's his
Well, you know what's funny? I'm basing it... I didn't think about that, and he made very good points, and I think he'll be in there at the end. I don't think he's winning. No, again, Vince ain't letting an NXT person win. I just don't think that's going to happen.
That's his pay-per-view. Yeah, that's
so
his pay-per-view.
those are mine. McIntyre and Rousey.
For me, I'll go with RK here. Sadly, but yes, I'm agreeing with him. I think Roman Reigns is going to take it, and I'll say Roman Reigns, McIntyre, and who else? Randy
Orton.
I can see that. Yeah, they booked Randy pretty highly on last 6 Raws, last couple Raws.
And on the Royal Rumble.
Although I do think he might get eliminated early by like AJ Styles or something like that too.
To resume their feud.
Yeah. I think that could happen too. But Randy's star. To be honest, I would not mind Randy winning. I love Randy.
Well, Randy,
I'm biased towards him.
Have you seen his facial reaction after doing the RKO against McIntyre?
Oh yeah.
That's why I thought I just said John Cena was going to be there. I guess we didn't predict John Cena to be in it, but I can see John Cena being in there at the end to tease the 17th title, right? I think they're eventually going to give it to Charlotte, like that whole moniker, which is dumb because her dad did it all. Now his daughter's just as good. Like, come on. It's not the same thing. But surprised none of us thought that John Cena might be in the end though. With the
I just think he's winding down. I just think if he's gonna have a match, it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be the title this year.
I'll tell you that right now.
It's not.
No, I'm not saying I never.
Worst taken wrestler.
Look, I said this before. I never said he was going to AEW.
Yes, you did.
I said you look at the prediction video.
Yes, you did.
I said if he, for instance, I was playing hypothetically, if John Cena went to AEW.
That's going to be inserted right now into the thing.
Tony Khan's already doing well, but imagine if they can get a big name superstar. Let's say, for instance, a John Cena.
John Cena said it before. He said he'll never leave the WWE family.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
He
Hulk Hogan said the same thing.
No, he
Macho
did not.
Man Randy Savage said the same thing. Bret Hart said the same thing.
No,
They
Bret
all
Hart
left.
is a different company.
They all
We already
left.
schooled them in the Facebook comments. Just go look at it. We're not going to
all
Look at
left.
the comments from last week.
Jesse, don't let him take over your
They all left. Top guys.
Jesse,
all leaving.
what's your women's Royal Rumble prediction?
Okay, I'll say Becky Lynch, of course, Charlotte, and
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch can't be in there.
Charlotte, of course, and let's see, Liv Morgan
Oh
and Alexa Bliss.
Well,
Who's winning though, Charlotte?
I'll say Alexa Bliss.
Wow, that is a dark horse pick. That is a dark
He's on the
horse
safe
pick.
side though. It's the safe side.
That is really
She
safe.
has not been involved in so much though that she could technically just come back and win it, and people would be generally surprised. And you'd be wondering what they were going to do.
Could be like a comeback if anything.
I mean, maybe Alexa Bliss has been training and has gotten a lot better in the ring, and then when maybe she does have like a classic with Bayley or Sasha or
You know
something.
what? That'd actually be. You know, I wouldn't mind.
I've never minded Alexa Bliss in the ring. No.
Or instead of Charlotte, Mandy Sachs.
Mandy Rose.
I mean, Mandy Rose. Why did I say Sachs? I always get her Instagram.
Mandy Sachs is
yeah,
the
Yeah.
That's fair. He's not wrong. Mandy Sachs. It's her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to laugh.
Anyways, those are my
That's
picks.
what happened.
That
Four
Otis
guys
is gonna
going
distract her. That Otis is gonna.
Yeah, coming after us.
That big fat belly is
Well,
going
Otis just turns heel and eliminates all the throwing them out like.
Well, we all saw it with the
Yeah.
cake.
Oh my gosh.
The caterpillar.
Yeah, so interesting kind of takes here. Do we think that any of the titles change hands of the current? Do we think Becky Lynch might lose? Do we think Becky Lynch loses to Asuka?
No.
Fiend's winning.
Fiend's winning.
Becky wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then what is it? Is there a
Bailey versus Lacey Evans. That's the one. That's the one match. Maybe I could see something screwy happening, but
nobody wants it. I think that the Bailey Sasha thing is happening whether Sasha wins or not.
Yeah, I do think.
Which is why they shouldn't have her win the Royal Rumble, because I think that we all see that coming, and I'm fine with it. I think that Bailey as a heel is way better than she was as a face the last couple of
And
years.
we've been waiting for this for years, for this Bailey Sasha Banks thing to blow over. We've been waiting it for years.
So, how good was Charlotte?
And the crowd wants to get behind Sasha. They want to get behind her.
There was a point that they were going to do that, but then they turned into friends.
Well, they've screwed up.
Heel friends.
And look at it. Look at it. Sasha Banks was out doing a promo, I heard, for the Super Bowl. So, I mean, you know, that might, I mean, we look at things and we say, well, that might.
It's a great time since it's going to be happening in Miami.
Yeah, you know what's cool
Tampa.
is that,
I mean, yeah,
Tampa.
Yeah.
you know what's cool is that the WWE Backstage is going to be live from Miami this next week.
Oh,
That'd
really?
be cool. You might have like some kind of programming with all the FS1 guys and stuff like that, sports.
Yeah.
I always like that stuff. You know,
It's really interesting.
might see some WWE guys and Skip and Shannon, Colin Cowherd's show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have anything to do with it. It's probably cutting this part out, but whatever.
Doesn't matter.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Remember, John, I didn't tell the story. Okay. All right, guys. Great podcast. We're definitely running out of time. I
Yeah.
can almost guarantee we're over an hour, so I'm gonna have to edit this. But yeah. So we got a lot of different opinions on the Royal Rumble. These guys ruined my night picking Roman Reigns. Brock Lesnar be interesting. Maybe him against the Fiend.
Hey, it's
Same
not my
side.
fault. It's not my fault. It's Vince's fault. Vince is the one doing the booking.
I'm just saying. Black Shadamas nickname is on the line with this one. He got a resurgence for one night.
Yeah.
Like DX coming back or the NWO.
Black
and-
Shadamas is
Just
going to
wait
live
till the next-
on forever.
Just wait till the next UFC pay-per-view. He's
Yeah,
going to
the
be
big
wrong.
one. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, so, is John Jones losing next? Is
Oh,
that what your
Dominic
next
Reyes?
pick is gonna be?
I said John.
That's the next
John Jones
pick.
Is Valentina Shevchenko losing?
No,
Yeah.
no. I picked the obvious one. I just picked it in a surprising
The
fashion.
loser would have to do something embarrassing, though.
God, I did not want to take shots after all those losses. It was
Me too.
I was hammered
I was getting
that
there.
night. I heard stories from people I was with that night, and they were like, "Man, you were drunk. You were very drunk."
You took shots too.
Mm-hmm.
He had to take a bunch at the end. Too.
What, like two?
We put
No,
more.
more.
Yeah.
How much?
Oh.
Well, he had to finish the bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, you made that.
But he did like
Why you make this dude
I
finish
did.
a bottle?
I said two.
Do
He
you
was
drink?
all by
Do
himself.
you drink?
He has a drink, so.
Oh my goodness gracious! Why you make this man drink a bottle?
Because he lost, and
Yeah.
he was driving.
And I love Jack Daniels.
It was good Jack Daniels.
Oh, you got
Tennessee,
Tennessee,
whiskey, shout
right.
The
out.
Lord Jesus.
I'm bringing
I
it for the
wasn't
next
here
one.
on that. I
I'll bring it
cannot
myself.
stand
That
that.
shit was good. I was making a joke. I was like, I wanted to take shots. I wanted to pick the wrong guy.
And,
every time.
I texted him, it's like, do you want me to bring some drink? He's like, yeah, bring something if you want. I'm like, I'll do
He goes
it.
whiskey. I go, yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I do. I want that. All right, for Nick Nina.
I'm Eric Santos.
The Arcade Jade Man.
Jesse.
And this has been the Ring Generals podcast. We will see you guys next time.
Raise a glass in the sky and salute the ring generals.